We have a massive Dylan Harper update before the Spurs game against the Jazz in the preseason today as he is officially cleared to play against former teammate of Rutgers, Ace Bailey, and it has me and other Spurs fans absolutely fired up. Harper even had some comments on the situation, and we're going to dive into that, plus what it means for the team, plus a couple other things, including one Spurs player who has been flying under the radar among the rest of the NBA this preseason, but he has a huge impact, and we have some teases of some new jerseys for San Antonio, all that coming up on this episode of Spurs Digest. And we're actually going to start though reminding you guys, look, Dylan Harper is back in action, and if you want literally the best Spurs merch, 100% cotton, 100% made in Texas, not from the Spurs store, it's our link down below in the pinned comment and description. Die Hard Addicts, this Wemby sweater, this Manu t-shirt, anything you want, this Harper hoodie, get your gear before the regular season starts, and if you use code DIGEST, you get 10% off anything that you order. They are the best Spurs merch out there. Please check out the link down below. I want to start though with some new jerseys. I don't like it. I don't like this at all. Look, okay, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I need your guys' thoughts because it's not an eyesore, right? It's not ugly. It's just boring, right? Like, I don't know. This is, again, the Jersey version, but Jordan kind of spoiled it with some of the stuff that's coming out. This was a picture from, I think, the Spurs store or the NBA store. It's just safe. And that's what I don't love. The Spurs have so many incredible designs, and this is what we're going with for the statement. Now, to be fair, they also did tease that former Great Fiesta jersey, and I have that hoodie. You've probably seen it in videos, the hoodie version of this jersey right here. So I'm glad that's coming back. We've had similar gray uniforms in the past. I'm not a fan of the gray one. I think it's, again, a little too safe, but I guess it is what it is. As long as we have the Fiesta back, I am happy, but I just wanted to show this at the start to get your guys' thoughts on the jerseys, because, like, I don't know. Maybe it'll look better on court, right? Once we see the players wearing it, this full gray scheme, maybe it'll look good. But look, regardless, I'm excited for the Fiesta jerseys. I think there's a lot of good stuff coming this season, but I wanted to start with that, get your guys' thought before we move on to a guy that I wanted to talk a bit about because he's getting a lot of attention, and this Julian Champagnie. Now, I talked about Cornet yesterday, but there's another guy that's been really heavy in the news cycle for the Spurs, and that is Julian Champagnie. The guy only averaged 10 points per game last year, but shot 42% on corner threes, 37% from three in general. But it's really his recent performances and the chemistry with Wemby, these incredible passes that Wemby is finding for Champagnie, because Wemby is dragging in defenders. Again, the gravity on the offensive end is causing defenders to sag off of great shooters like Champagnie and is getting him more open looks than ever. And reminder, this is also without Castle playing, without Harper playing, without Fox playing, and Champagnie's still getting these, so I can only imagine the quality of his looks will go up. But I was looking at some stats recently, and, the stats that I have do date back to last season. So what you're going to see is the first two preseason games and then the last three games from last season. And that's what we got right here. And I thought it was interesting because even dating to the end of last season when he was getting some more run, 29, 30, 35 minutes, he was scoring points, 14, 23, and 14 points, 4 for 6 from 3, 6 for 9 from 3, 3 for 7 from 3. It almost looks like he just continued that hot streak into this preseason, which I know is not really what happens, but it's kind of cool to see it this way. Of course, these last two preseason games versus Guangzhou and versus Miami, 16 points and 15 points, 4 for 8 and 5 for 8 from the field, 4 for 7 and 5 for 7 from 3. The dude so far is 9 for 14 from 3 this preseason. That is absolutely on fire. 4 for 5 from the free throw line, getting 3 or 4 rebounds, getting a few assists, some steals, some blocks. Julian Champagnie is one of these guys that I've talked about before. Him and especially a guy like Devin Vassell and, later on Harrison Barnes and even Carter Bryant. These are the kind of guys that are going to absolutely thrive with the Spurs. I don't want to say new system, but with the way the offense is building up this year, right? With Wemby taking so much control, with the ball in his hands as well, the gravity he has, with De'Aaron Fox who's going to be able to slash so much. The chaos they're going to be able to create on the offensive end is going to lead to a lot of open spot-up looks, and that's where Julian Champagnie absolutely shines. Now, he's even been hitting contesta once this preseason. I gotta say, he's been beyond impressive, but I'm super excited to see what he can do coming up, and I've seen a lot of Spurs fans talking about him, so I wanted to leave him some praise, and I'd love if you guys did the same down below. But look, this video, it needs to be jam-packed because we got a game tonight, and we had to get this video out ASAP. And look, here's the big news. Number 2 overall pick, Dylan Harper, is expected to make a Spurs debut, and that's per multiple sources. They have Jay McDonald, but a couple of people confirmed it, including Jacob Toby, which is, again, is a great follow. So many great Spurs follows on X. Spurs number 2 overall pick Dylan Harper will make his preseason debut tonight. Spurs get one of their point guards back versus the Jazz. Minutes restriction, but should be fun. And Dylan Harper, like, look, we have been waiting for this. It's why I got this sweater, and I am so hyped for Dylan Harper. I'm starting his Rookie of the Year campaign right now. Ace Bailey actually looks good too. Mr. Ace right here, the former teammates. And Dylan Harper even said they're like brothers in this interview you see here, and I'll talk about a quote in a second. But isn't this just what we've all been waiting for? It's finally happening. Looking at the roster again, a couple of guys banged up here in the preseason. Sochan still recovering from a calf injury. Castle bruised his knee guarding Wembanyama. Fox's hamstring. But those guys will be back soon enough. Fox is going to miss the start of the season. So it's very important, though, to have Dylan Harper be the first guy who's fully healthy. And we had an interesting video the other day about, oh, does he have the splint? Does he not have the splint? All this stuff. Maybe it was a real thing. Maybe he didn't have the splint because he's ready to go. After last game, he's going for this game. Minutes restriction. Still, though, like, I'm so excited to see him play, and he is too. And he was asked in an interview there, like, hey, you know, how you feeling about heading into this game? He said, you know, first game jitters, but go out there, play hard, focus on the defensive side. Just go with the flow of the game, and don't try to force anything. Set the tone early that we're going to guard, we're going to play defense, we're going to play hard. And isn't that such an interesting thing for Dylan Harper to say? I mean, the dude was drafted, I mean, like, I'm just going to say his defense wasn't the top thing on his list of, you know, NBA level skills. He was not bad. We saw him be quite good actually in Summer League on the defensive end, like really good. He looks great, but he's known as an offensive player, right? I mean, his footwork is so good. Not the most explosive first step, but still very athletic, can get to the rim with ease. Like, he is just one of those guys that can completely change your offense. A guy that could be the number 1 overall pick in a lot of the last few years' drafts, but he went 2 because Cooper Flagg is there. But for him to come out and identify, like, it's not just him. Like, he's been saying it. Carter Bryant's been saying it. Wemby has been very adamant about how the Spurs need to play defense, and this is the first thing he says when asked about how do you feel going into your first preseason game. It's a preseason game versus the Jazz, who aren't projected to be that good, and he's like, set the tone early that we're going to guard, going to play defense, going to play hard. Isn't that just exactly what you want to hear? And again, it just goes with the Spurs identity that, like, these guys are playing for each other. Dylan Harper is not going to go out there to try and get these individual stats. That is probably, it seems like, the last thing on his mind. Yeah, he wants to go up against his brother Ace Bailey. Not literal brother, but you know what I mean. That's what he said in the interview. He's like, that's like my brother. And, like, these guys are going to go head to head. But Harper's like, as a team, we're going to go lock up. As a team, we're going to play defense. We're going to try and win this, right? And to me, that is just awesome. And again, like I said, with the lack of De'Aaron Fox and Castle, I don't know if Harper will start. I assume he will because, like, you know, fanfare, all this stuff, and probably just kind of play 15, 20 minutes. But this is a great ramp up. And what I love, too, is that, you know, yes, it's like his shooting hand that he had the splint on. So right now, though, in the preseason, if he's just focusing mostly on defense, and he's not worried too much about getting his shot up, getting some finishes, he has practice to do that, right? Again, game situation shots matter, but if he's going out there focusing on defense, that's something that he doesn't need to hold back on because it's not a lower body injury. It's not his hamstring or calf like Fox or Sochan. It's his hand. So yeah, it might affect getting a steal or something, but going out there, giving his all on defense is the one thing that he shouldn't be limited in because of his injury. So I'm so excited. Like, I love to hear this from Harper. It's finally happening, and I could not be happier. Leave your thoughts on Dylan Harper starting down below, and that'll do it for this episode. But hey, we're going to have another video coming out after the game. Make sure you stay tuned to Spurs Digest literally every single day all season long because we have a lot more content just like this coming for you. I'm Josh Gosse, and I'll catch you on the next one.